In a basic cartoon form that ignores complexity and implications associated with acquisition, processing, and transform types, seismic reflection data can be thought of as a combination of reflectivity, which contains the geologic content, the wavelet, which is convolved with the reflectivity, and noise, which in this case is shown as an additional low-level randomly distributed energy. When you transform these components into the frequency domain for a spectral view of the elements, convolution becomes multiplication. Historically, it was accepted that if you transform a longer window, the resulting spectral shape becomes a reasonable representation of the amplitude spectrum of the wavelet. The reason for this is when you examine a long window of geology, and that geology contains a large variety of reflection spike sizes and also a wide range of bed thicknesses, you end up with a spectrum that, when multiplied by the wavelet shape, produces something that approximates the shape of the wavelet. Now, I say approximation because reflectivity is not purely white. It has a blue spectral color, by which I mean that it exhibits higher amplitude at higher frequencies and lower amplitude at lower frequencies. This spectral color is carried as a component of the long window amplitude spectrum. If you take that same geology and represent it not by reflection spikes, but by impedance layers, the geological content remains the same. But by representing the contrasts by impedance blocks rather than the reflectivity spikes, the spectral color changes from blue to red. It is now richer in lower frequencies and poorer in higher frequencies. The important takeaway here is that whether you represent the geological content in the form of reflectivity or in the form of impedance, the geological content remains the same. Impedance, which is a layer or body representation, exhibits a red spectral color. Reflectivity, which is an interface or boundary representation, exhibits a blue spectral color. Neither one is white, both are equally correct, and both are equally useful. Now, if you examine the transform of a shorter window, the key components once again include the geologic content, the wavelet, and noise. But you no longer have the long window-based range of bed thicknesses and the variety of impedance contrasts. A short analysis window takes in a specific subset of the geologic content. There is, of course, the wavelet overprint to contend with, but within the overprint is a pattern of interference that allows you to focus on the zone of interest and to extract the spectral properties of the target reflective material.